Starlink has arrived in India. Is our sovereignty doomed now? Rohan says Starlink will now be available in India. Is this the first step towards vassalhood? Zeno Zenith says, has India already become a US V-word for allowing Geo and Airtel to collaborate with Starlink? Khushbu says, is India becoming a US vassal? The government has just bowed down to allow Starlink in India. Are we slowly losing our sovereignty? Priyojit Mondal says, as of now, Geo and Airlink are collaborating with Starlink and it's going to be given access to India. Is it going to be dangerous, or has the Indian government and Airtel and Geo done some tweaks which would save India's national security? I mean, the Starlink beam was already facing India's far east, northeast, and giving cookie separatists and terrorists intel from those satellites. More questions. Let's see some more. Someone says, before TRI made a decision, Ashwini Vaishnav, the minister of the government of India, tweeted about Starlink coming to India and then deleted the tweet after a backlash. This raises concerns about India's national sovereignty and sensitive technologies. The involvement of foreign entities could lead to data access in ways that are not fully transparent. As India moves towards the Vishwaguru race, could we be stepping into Vishwa something else opposed to Vishwaguru, risking strategic areas and high stakes technologies? Satyendra says, I have been following. Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. My question is with reference to an article published in the Times of India. The title is Center Sets Tough Conditions for India's Entry to Starlink. Will this move from the Indian government, as mentioned in this article, guarantee a protection from its illegitimate use when it comes to access of Starlink services in disturbed areas like Manipur, Northeast India, or a few parts of Kashmir? I remember you had pointed out similar risk when it comes to Starlink entering India in various episodes and podcasts. I've been doing that for quite some time. I have been saying for the longest time Starlink should not be allowed in India, and I've given a list of reasons why. Next question. Spy Wolf says, as all the Abhijit Chavda audience knows and understands, SpaceX Starlink is a threat for India's security, but recent news is that Jio and Airtel have announced an agreement with SpaceX for cheap broadband internet. Now, what's your views on that? Illegal immigrants को बाहर निकालने के लिए US से permission के लिए और कितनी चीजों उनको allow करनी पड़ेगी? EVs, now Starlink, what next? F-35. Let's take some more questions. Pranay Paul says, Starlink partnering with Bharti Airtel and Jio, is India strategically positioning itself in the global satellite internet race? Could this move reshape India's digital infrastructure while also raising concerns over foreign control of critical communication networks? How do you see this move? What difference does it make having Airtel and Jio on board instead of letting Starlink operate independently as they do in other countries? Is this a well thought out strategy by the Indian government? More questions. What's up with Starlink now? Is it over for us? I'm 17. I only make 2 prayers daily: safety of my family and prayers and progress of our country. Is the latter done for now? I can't even describe how low I am feeling right now. Indian stock picker says Starlink finally finds its way into India. Does this partnership with Jio and Airtel make it anything different, like data sharing restrictions, etc.? How should we see it from our country's defense and geopolitical perspective? Sid says it looks like Starlink has entered India with this partnership. What's my opinions? Do you think this partnership is to control what Starlink can do in India and they are not allowed to operate independently, but like a joint venture on an Indian company? And lastly, some more questions. Geopolitical Dubey says there are media reports that government of India proposed Elon Musk to establish Starlink control room in India. Do you think it will prevent the dangers? And Jason Grace says recently, yeah, we know what's happened. Are we justified to feel concerned about the supposed appeasement of Trump in order to garner his favor? Is there some deeper play going on which we might be missing? So many questions, all valid questions, right? So you may remember there was this episode of Ask Abhijit. I think it was episode 229 in sometime in the end of January, which could be called the Vassal State episode, in which I was saying that we could be on our way to becoming a US vassal state, and it's not so bad and all that. And a lot of people had said, "Why are you being so negative?" and all that. A lot of people were not happy about the things I had said. So here we are today. Yeah. Starlink is entering India. I have been saying this for quite some time. Starlink should not be allowed into India for very clear reasons. Very clear reasons. Let's say you are a rioter and you are conducting riots in some Indian city. So typically, when this happens, the government will switch off mobile phone and internet services in the region, right? But what if there is Starlink available? Then the rioters can organize and do whatever they want. They can communicate as per their wishes. And even if the government switches off all local mobile and internet services, Starlink will still operate. And then what can we do? We can shake our fist at the sky, like Elon Musk would say. That's what the government can do. Or let's say you are a terrorist or a separatist, a foreign infiltrator who has crossed over from Burma into Manipur, and you are targeting civilians and flying drones and bombing the city, the capital city, with drones, right? And let's say the government is taking action against these foreigners, these foreign barbaric infiltrators. And to do that, the government switches off mobile and internet services. But what if Starlink is available? Then these terrorists will be able to operate with impunity, and Project K will continue. Let's say you are a Pakistani infiltrator into Jammu and Kashmir, into the Kashmir Valley. And there's this region in the Kashmir Valley where there's no internet, there's no telephone services, mobile phone services, but Starlink is available. I can go on and on about these scenarios, right? And the fact that Starlink is operated by a foreign entity, by Elon Musk, by the US, means that they decide when to turn it on and when to turn it off. And that's why Starlink doesn't make any sense for it doesn't make any sense for us to have Starlink in India. And that's what I've been saying for quite some time. And my colleague Ram Dwivedi also has said the same thing. And many other sensible people are saying this. Starlink should not be allowed into India. It will, um, compromise our sovereignty. And what do you call a nation whose sovereignty is compromised? You call it a vassal state. To some extent, not fully, but to some extent, when your sovereignty is compromised, you are not a fully sovereign nation, right? Um, so I will not comment about Mr. Ashwini Vaishnav and him deleting him first tweeting a great warm welcome to Starlink and then deleting the tweet very quickly. I will not comment about that. I will just make a note of that this happened. So now the first question that arises is what difference does it make having Airtel and Jio collaborating and partnering with Starlink, with Elon Musk, instead of letting Starlink operate independently like they do in other countries? What difference does it make? So I'm not sure what the modalities and parameters of this uh, collaboration are like. Okay, but Starlink is going to collaborate with both these companies. So maybe it means. So how does Starlink work? They have a constellation of satellites. Okay, let's look at the map of the planet, and I'll just give you an idea of how it works. I want to show you the globe, not the map, but the globe. So here we have the planet, okay, and you have a constellation of satellites, like thousands of satellites, uh, orbiting the Earth in what's called reasonably low Earth orbit, like 200, 300 kilometers above the surface of the planet, okay? And they keep on orbiting all across the all across the planet, thousands of satellites, which means that at any given point of time, let's say over India, you will have a bunch of satellites, Starlink satellites, that can beam wireless internet to you. Okay. Now, so that's basically how Starlink works. Now, you need a receiver, obviously, right? So Starlink has these receivers. These are reasonably small devices that you can put out maybe on your rooftop or outside your window or in a balcony or wherever. And as long as there's a direct line of sight with a satellite or a bunch of satellites, you will get a reasonably low latency and reasonably high speed internet. Reasonably, right? That's the deal. So maybe the deal is that Airtel and Jio may manufacture those receivers. Maybe that's the deal. So if Airtel and Jio manufactured the receivers, if the receivers, Starlink receivers, are manufactured in India, maybe we can install a kill switch in them, which will allow the government of India to uh, shut off access, switch off access. So even if the Starlink beam or signal is being received, the government can tell Geo and Airtel to switch off access in so and so area, in so and so city or village or state or whatever. Maybe that's the deal. Okay, so maybe having Airtel and Geo on board serves that purpose. So does it allow the government of India to completely control Starlink? And there's this report, like someone was saying, that the center has set tough conditions for India entry by Starlink. I'm not sure what the tough conditions are, but if Geo and Airtel are manufacturing those receivers, then maybe it gives the government of India some way of controlling access, so they can switch off uh, the internet in some areas. But let's say you are a cookie terrorist in Manipur, and you have smuggled in receivers from a different country. Let's say you smuggled them in from Thailand or wherever. Then you have a receiver that's not manufactured by Geo or Airtel. In that case, you'll be able to continue to receive the internet unless Elon Musk himself switches it off over India. Well, that's up to him. That's entirely up to him, and we don't control Elon Musk, right? So that's the danger. So maybe Geo and Airtel being on board gives us a small amount of control over Starlink. Maybe there can be some data sharing restrictions. Maybe the government can switch off internet in various parts of the country as long as the receivers are Geo or Airtel receivers, right? But it doesn't give the government complete control. And maybe the Starlink beams are powerful enough that you can access them directly on your phones. It's going to happen eventually. Then you will not even need receivers. Earlier, you needed uplink stations. So so the Starlink satellite would send a beam to an uplink station or something on the surface of the planet, and then that uplink station would operate like a cell phone tower and broadcast the beam all across the place. Now it's not needed anymore. So you can directly receive the signal on your receiver. Probably eventually, soon enough, it will be such that you can, even without a Starlink receiver, you can directly get it on your cell phone or whatever device. In that case, well, there's no way the government of India can control Starlink, right? So what's happening? So the big question everyone is asking is, are we becoming the V word, the vassal, a vassal of the US? Look, we are not, we control our borders, right? That's number one. Number two, we control our currency. Number three, we pass our laws. We have complete control on the laws and policies in the country, right? So those things are there. Number four, we have complete control over military. Number five, um, we have no foreign military bases on our soil. So these are the main hardcore conditions for you to be a vassal of another country. So we don't have that. But we are we are essentially not technologically sovereign. We don't have technological sovereignty in India. Technologically, you can perhaps say that we are a technological vassal of the US. We don't have our own search engines. We don't have our own AI systems. We don't have satellite internet. We don't have our own global GPS. We don't have our chip manufacturing. We are in the process of setting it up, which will take a while. So technologically, we are not sovereign as a nation. We are a technological vassal of the West, of the US. We are in that position. Yes. Um, yes. So I would still say that India is a sovereign nation. India is not a geopolitical vassal of the US like Pakistan is, or East Pakistan, Bangladesh is, or the EU nations are, or Japan, South Korea, etc. are. We are not a vassal in that sense. But technologically, we are super deficient. We have been very short sighted technologically, and we are a technological vassal of the US. So, does the entry of Starlink into India mean that we are appeasing Donald Trump and we have, yeah, we have buckled and we are appeasing Donald Trump? Yes, it does mean that. Make no mistake about it. We are giving Trump the wins that he wants. And at what, I mean, since we have agreed to let this happen, to have Starlink into India, what are we getting in exchange right now? I mean, there has to be some give or take, give and take, right? I give you this win. What do you give me in exchange? I don't see any big win right now. But hold that thought. Hold that thought. So ideally, if we allow Starlink to come into India, Elon Musk should have set up some Tesla factories in India or some gigafactories or whatever. Nothing of the sort. He has not even bothered to visit India. That's a big win for them without getting anything in exchange, right? So look, it's like this. The US is a super powerful nation. We are nothing compared to the US. If you have delusions that India is a great near superpower, we are not. We are not even in the same league as China or Russia. Not even close. We are the fourth most powerful nation in the world, which doesn't mean a big deal when you're comparing yourself with the US. So you don't want to be on Trump's bad side. You want to give him the wins he wants. You give him the wins when it comes to the tariff issue. Okay, you want us to cut down the tariffs? We'll cut down the tariffs. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Sorry, we had kept the tariffs on. Now we will cut everything down as per your wishes. Number two, Starlink. Yes, sir. Starlink. We'll have it. We'll have it in India. Yeah, it is. It is a big blow to our technological sovereignty, and it's going to cause issues when it comes to terrorism and infiltration and separatism and riots and all that. It will cause us issues. Okay, fine. But there is going to be a red line somewhere. The F-35. Now, if we buy the F-35, I'm going to say we are a full vassal. Okay? Trump wants us to buy the F-35. And a ridiculous piece of garbage. It's completely unsuitable for India. So if we buy that too, that's going to make me say that we are genuinely in vassal territory now. But I think at some point in time, we're going to tell Mr. Trump, look, Mr. Trump, we have cooperated with you about this matter. We gave you all the wins you wanted on tariffs. We even allowed Starlink to come into India. But there are certain things that we're going to have to say no to you, sir. And please understand, we have been extremely cooperative, but certain things we're going to have to say no to you about. So the F-35 hopefully is one of those issues, because that is going to completely vassalize us, the F-35. And also, because we have given Trump these wins, it's going to come in handy in case of future problems with China or other nations. So you've got to give the man some wins. I mean, I wouldn't have liked to see this happen, Starlink coming into India. But there we are. So yes, it's definitely appeasement of Trump. Defense and I mean, all those perspectives, it's bad for us. You know what should ideally have happened? What should have happened ideally? You know, Geo or Reliance should have set up their own Starlink, something like GeoLink. You know, let's say Geo proposes to the government of India that we're gonna set up our own constellation of satellites that will be a better alternative, cheaper, faster, superior alternative to Elon Musk's Starlink. Of course, we have the technology to do that. 4, 5, 6,000 satellites. Then Reliance tells the government of India, talk to ISRO, and we are giving them 4 or 5 years to develop the technology of reusable boosters, so that we can have 1 or 2 launches every week. It took SpaceX between 2013 to 2016, 2017 to completely perfect the reusable booster technology. Just 4 years. ISRO can do it in less time and make it even better. We have the talent and the skills. So this would have turned ISRO into a gigantic behemoth of global standards if this had been proposed and agreed that Geo launches Geolink or Airtel launches Airtel Link, which will outcompete Starlink. And we give ISRO 4 years to develop the technology, and then we start launching two rockets a week with 100 satellites each. We have launched 100 plus satellites in the past on the little PSLV. So this could have been done. It would have transformed India into a genuine global behemoth, global power player. It would have given us global surveillance capabilities. We would not have needed uh, so many things that we need right now. And we could even have launched our own GPS kind of system with this sort of rocket launching capabilities. But yeah, we simply don't have the vision. Of course, it costs money and all that, but everything is feasible. We have. It's not like we don't have the money in India. So it's a huge opportunity lost. It is sad to see. I had warned multiple times against this, and it's gonna cause challenges in India. Lots of security challenges. It's going to cause challenges to our sovereignty in the border regions. There is this Project K going on, Cookie Land for Christ, that will receive a shot in the arm once they start having you know internet in the mountains and in the forests. So it's going to be a problem. But yeah, that's where we stand today. I'm sorry I cannot give you a better, more a happier interpretation of what's happening. It is what it is. We are technologically not a really sovereign nation. So technologically we are like 20, 30 years behind the world, when we should not be. We should not have been there, but that's where we are.